Hey YouTube, welcome to I guess the final. I think this is probably the final video in this kind of fill um, development series I've been doing. Actually, this has ended up longer than I expected, but I keep thinking of new things I want to share. But this will definitely be the final one, and this will be really just talking, but I'm going to try to keep it short. I promise. Um, But one thing that I wanted to to kind of say is that when it comes to fills, I think it's important um, that we kind of understand first and foremost what the role of a fill is. There's tons and tons of drummers out there on YouTube where you can learn all these different licks and ideas. Um, and all of that's cool and it can be fun to play, but I will say that the majority of that stuff, though it sounds cool and it's fun to learn, I would go as far as to say you're probably not going to play a lot of that stuff that often. Okay, now again, it depends on what kind of music you're playing and that kind of thing. Um, and whether you're actually on a regular basis doing a lot of soloing, because a lot of those licks out there are really mainly useful in solos. And I don't know about you. I don't you know I don't play that many solos. Now granted, if I'm playing jazz, I mean, I do a lot of solos when I play jazz, but it's usually trading fours and things like that. So there is a use of having some soloing vocabulary. But I do think there's a difference between soloing vocabulary and fill vocabulary. Okay? But anyway, again, it depends on the music you're playing and such. But for the most part, a lot of that stuff you're just not going to use that much, really. Uh, so I think it's important to remember that a fill. Okay, the purpose of fills is they're a transitional device. They're used to transition phrases in music. That's their purpose. Okay, and yes, they add color and effect and all that, but they essentially tell the band and the listener, all right, we're going in this direction, or we're going to the chorus, or whatever. Okay, but they mark phrases. Okay, so we have to remember that a lot of those really busy licks that are out there, which are really cool. I mean, most of that stuff is not going to work. To be honest with you, it's not going to work in um, many environments that you'll find yourself in. Okay, now yes, there are exceptions. Of course, there are exceptions, and I'm not saying that there isn't. But by and large, um, most of those ideas work better in a solo than to actually use them in music. So I would encourage you as you're developing your field vocabulary, to keep that in mind. Are the ideas that you're wanting to learn, okay, whether you've come up with them yourself or you got them from somewhere else, are they going to be useful? I mean, are they going to fit with the music that you're playing in? If so, then great, man, go for it. Okay, but if it's not, then it might not necessarily be worth your time, to learn it. I mean, unless you just want to learn it for fun, then there's nothing wrong with that. But I know in my own playing, now granted, I'm a musician for a living. I've trimmed the fat a lot, so to speak, in a lot of my playing. Where a lot of stuff I used to know, I don't even practice anymore because there was just a lot of ideas that I was practicing that I just ultimately I didn't really use much, if at all. So I just stopped working on it, and I try to focus more on stuff that I'm going to use, and not only that, but stuff that supports the music that I'm playing. Okay, I mean, and this is specifically talking about fills. I don't want to just play a fill because I think it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I want the fill to support the song that I'm playing. Okay, and that's important. If it doesn't support the song you're playing, then it's a hindrance. The fill is it becomes a negative as opposed to it being a positive thing that helps the song musically. It takes away from that musicality. So we have to be really careful of that. Okay, um, and again, I'm not saying that all your fills have to be like, dat do da do boosh gak, but I'm not saying that. But at the same time, those simple fills always work. Always. I mean, I can't think of an instance where the Pat Boone, Debbie Boone fill would work. I mean, really. I mean, so and that's kind of the hallmark of a good fill concept is one that you can use a lot. So now I haven't trimmed all the fat on my playing. Obviously, I have some licks on here on my own page, but most of the licks that I have on here, I play frequently. Um, and yes, I do still have some that I play more than others, but I've really just kind of narrowed down a lot of my ideas to stuff that is going to work in a wide variety of situations based upon what I'm playing. And I play all styles of music. And I still more often than not find playing something less crazy to be better. Okay? Now again, if you're doing a lot of drum solos or if you're producing your own music, where you have the liberty to just do a bunch of crazy stuff, then man, go for it. I think that's awesome. I'm just speaking generally. If you're a full time musician, playing, cover gigs, or if you're playing in a original music and it's not jazz fusion. The light, if it's like singer songwriter type stuff or pop rock or country or whatever, that's when you have to really go, okay, does my fill vocabulary, is it healthy? So so just something to think about because there's a lot of licks and stuff out there that you can get and all of it's fun and it sounds cool, but ultimately outside of a drum solo, is it something you're going to use or is it something that's going to support the music you're playing? So I think it's important to ask those questions. Okay, that's all. It's something I've done again in my own playing where I've stopped working on a lot of stuff that I used to spend a lot of time on simply because outside of the practice room I would almost never play it. And to me, that's just I'd rather spend my time more on things that need to be worked on. Okay, so this is my final video on this to conclude. So I hope this helped you. And if you have any comments, leave them in the comments section and like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys soon. All right, and I hope everybody has an awesome weekend. All right, take care.